y para hemos visto muchas veces. Entonces, ya nosotros conocemos muchas expresiones con por. ¿Cuál es un ejemplo de una expresión con por? Un ejemplo de una expresión con por. Por ejemplo. Muy bien. Por ejemplo, es una expresión con por. ¿Qué más? Por la noche. Muy bien. Por la noche, por la mañana, por la tarde. Por ejemplo. ¿Qué más? ¿Cómo se dice please en español? Por favor. ¿No? Entonces, por no es un concepto nuevo. Por es un concepto repetido, de hecho. Y bueno, ahora nosotros vamos a conocer estas preposiciones en un contexto. Ok. Como siempre, vamos a identificar el significado, el contexto y después los usos de por. Y vamos a organizar los usos aquí en la tabla, ¿no? Bajo por. Estuvo en tráfico por 3 horas. What's this saying? For 3 hours, right? So, en este ejemplo, por significa for y se usa para indicar una cantidad de tiempo. Perdón. Por 3 horas. So, en el supersitio, en el examen, what would your context clue be here to choose, on the super... Repite. Horas, muy bien. Horas es más específico, un número. Una cantidad de tiempo. Like 2 minutos. Pablo estuvo en el baño por 10 minutos. Por ejemplo, ¿ok? 2 días, 5 semanas, 10 años, por ejemplo, ¿ok? So, en sus libros tenemos los usos de por. Duration of an action, you can refer to it like that. Or I would just put like numbers, quantity of time. Quantity of time, duration of time. You're really looking for the context clue por 3 horas, which is why on your paper, you're not just copying por, you're also copying your context clue, okay? Estuvo en tráfico. And why do you think I'm using the preterite here instead of the imperfect? What is this saying?
Because it's a specific time.
Yeah, beginning and end. Por 3 horas estuvo, pretérito. Por no utilizar el navegador GPS, se perdió. So what's happening here in this example? So what happened? First, let's identify the meaning. What's going on? What happened to this guy? He got lost. Why? Because he didn't use his GPS. Okay, so listen carefully to my question. Why did he get lost? ¿Cómo se dice why in español? ¿Por qué? And then when you responded to explain to me why, you used what word in English? Because. ¿Cómo se dice because in español? ¿Por qué? Okay, so we're going to build on what we know. We use ¿por qué? To ask why and ¿por qué? To explain. On the super site and the test and the final exam, you can use por and para with an infinitive, okay? So you can't rely on, it's an infinitive, I'll use por. You can use para with infinitives, like los ojos se usan para ver. So infinitive is not the context clue. If you can rearrange the information in the sentence to provide an explanation, you're going to use por with an infinitive. Explanations. So just think of por qué. We all know what por qué means. And if you can rearrange the information to provide an explanation, and here's how you would do it. El señor se perdió porque no utilizó su navegador GPS. So if you can put this part first and this part last and connect them with porque, it requires a little conjugation, but you don't need to worry about that. And you have an infinitive, it's por. Does that make sense? It gets complicado with por versus para and infinitive, so don't just rely on the infinitive. Este es mucho más fácil. Pagué $300 por estas llantas. So how is por being used here? What's this saying? Pagué $300 por estas llantas. What? What's pagué? Paid $300 for these tires, okay? So whenever we have an exchange, usually it's with money, okay? Like, ¿cuánto pagaste por tus libros? Or, pagué, $10 por mi comida en el restaurante ayer, por ejemplo. So our rule is exchange. Typically, we use money to exchange goods. So when you see a reference of money, that's your context clue. But when you were niños en la cafeteria, you would trade the apple for the pear or the Twinkie for the ho-ho. Okay? So it doesn't always have to be money. Hopefully you grew up with Twinkies. Did you? Oh no, they took a hiatus. I grew up with Twinkies, and then there were no more Twinkies, and then now there's Twinkies, but Twinkies are back. Okay, but anyway, I'm just giving that example not to talk about Twinkies, but to illustrate that most of the time we use money to exchange goods, but sometimes we trade, You trade in your book or, I don't know, somebody something. Okay, pregunta? Sí.
So what if you had it's the exchange of ideas or knowledge, something like that? Would that still apply? Because it's not.
Okay, so I can only answer if you give me an example in English, because por has to translate.
For.
Yes, I know, but give me an example using for with exchanging.
So they.
Okay, so we're going to get to something similar to that, but you're on the right track. Because you can use it with verbs when you do something for someone. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, kind of.
So you fill up the gas tank for your mom. Mm-hmm. You borrow her car and you fill up her tank for her. Okay. That would be por. Okay. Or you're heartbroken over somebody, for your love. Por tu amor. You're the reason for it. So that can kind of go with explanation and exchange. And then also, we're going to get to that here in a second. Filling up the gas tank for someone or doing a favor for someone, which hold that thought. Por aquí, we use por with locations. So it's really hard to see the brightness. I have my brightness to the max, but it's still hard to see. It's just a phone on a seat. Por aquí or por allá. Por with location words. Searching for something. Locations. Something lost. Left behind, por ejemplo. Okay, todos los días conduzco por la calle King. We just had this example. How's por being used right here? We just talked about this. Is this route or destination? Route, exactly. So that's your use of por. Route. Conduzco por la calle King. Route. However you get somewhere. So por can mean for, but it can also mean through or by. Por ejemplo. Okay, ¿cuántos más de por tenemos? Dos más, rápidamente. Le escribo mensajes de texto a mi esposo por móvil todos los días. So what's it saying here? What's a móvil? A cell phone, right? So here por is being used to express what? I text my husband by, through, via. So por with teléfono. Have you ever heard teléfono? Por teléfono? I know you have. So por can also be used with means of communication. Communication. Por FaceTime, por Skype, por Instagram, por Snapchat, por WhatsApp, por whatever technology you're using to communicate. Communication y más. En los Estados Unidos se maneja mucho por carro. What's it saying? In the U.S., they drive a lot by car. Modes of transportation. Por avión, por tren, por metro, por Uber, por Lyft, por autobús. Okay? Bueno, vamos a terminar. So we've talked about por expressions, por ejemplo, por la tarde, por favor, por último, por fin, finally. What about para? Can you think of any expressions with para? Anything that comes to mind with para? ¿Para qué? Remember, we had actually 3 chapters. Muchas gracias. ¿Para qué se usa la tecnología? ¿Para qué se usan los ojos? So I love that example, Marina. Thanks for remembering it because I couldn't even think of it just now off the top of my head because it just goes to show you can use por qué to ask why, but para qué is asking what? Por qué is asking why. Yeah, and in English, we don't use correct grammar. But para qué is like, what for? What for? Okay? Versus why. ¿Para qué? Se usan para arrancar el carro. Descripciones, no? What they're used for. Y ¿para qué se usan para, qué se usan para arrancar el carro? ¿Qué se usan para arrancar el carro? Keys. Ajá, llaves. Muy bien, Ana. Las llaves. Las llaves. Las llaves se usan para arrancar el carro. ¿Para qué se usa para conducir el carro? ¿Para qué se usa conducir el carro? Sí. El
volante.
El volante. Muy bien, el volante se usa para conducir el carro. ¿Para qué se usa imprimir un papel, un archivo, un documento? ¿Para qué se usa la impresora? No, so para with an infinitive. There's 2 uses we'll see with para plus an infinitive. Build on what you know. We were using para with all descriptions to state the purpose of something. Which might, nope, I don't have that as my first example. So un momento. But I'm going to put it in there and we'll get back to it. Para, purpose. Porque. Otro uso de para que vimos la semana pasada. Chicos, recuerden en la clase de español viernes. Hablamos de por con la ruta para el destino. ¿Ok? Y este ejemplo, salgo para el taller mecánico, indica el destino. This is stating what? I'm what? I'm going to the mechanic. Exactly. Taller mecánico. I'm going to the mechanic today at 5, por ejemplo. So, para destino, or in English, destination. That's what the rule you would put on your paper. Destino or destination? It's shorter in Spanish. Salimos para las casas de nuestras familias durante Thanksgiving. Now, destino. Okay? Por ruta para destino. Explanation, para qué purpose? What for? Para qué? Para purpose. Okay. Okay. Otro ejemplo. Esa computadora portátil es para Alicia. What's this information conveying? What are we saying? What's a computadora portátil? A laptop, right? Portátil probably means what in English? Like literally? Portable. Exactly. A portable computer. Portátil. Es para Alicia. What is this telling us? It's for her. Right. Exactly. So, para is used when someone's the recipient of a gift, typically. So por, like think of favors as actions, when you do an action on someone's behalf, but when you give somebody something. So at the end of the semester, when you all bring me a Christmas gift, you'll write para profeseta de Ana, por ejemplo. Just kidding, no gifts needed. But if you're giving somebody a gift in Spanish, on the tag you would write para and their name. So when they're a recipient, or let's say Octavio made the potato salad for his mom, and his sibling came in and started eating, like, no, es para mi mamá, es para nuestra mamá. So, recipient of a gift or, some sort of object. Gift or object. And then I put destino in there too. Destination, purpose, recipient of a gift. Or something some sort of object. Okay, y miren, aquí tengo el ejemplo. Se usan las llaves para arrancar el carro. We already noted the use of this, but just to reiterate, para plus an infinitive, because you can have por with infinitives, and you can have para with infinitives. So you can't just look at the blank on the superside or the test and think infinitive one or the other. It can go either way. It depends on what you're expressing. So para with an infinitive is used to state what again? The purpose. Exactly. Los ojos se usan para ver. La boca se usa para hablar, right? That's why you've been using para que se usa para for 3 chapters. So when you got to this, it was easy to recognize when you see this verb. You know it's going to be para when we have an infinitive. Okay, el examen es para lunes. El examen es para lunes. So how is para being used in this example? Para is being used to indicate what? An upcoming date. Yeah, an upcoming date or a deadline. Para el fin de semestre, los exámenes finales. Upcoming date or deadline, we would use para. Careful, because por, we can use a duration of time. 2 días, 5 semanas, but when we have like el 28 de octubre, if we have a date or an upcoming day, you know it's going to be para. Okay? ¿Comprenden? Okay, muy bien. Okay, that should be capital P, perdón. But para ser antiguo, el televisor funciona bien. So para, once again, we have with an infinitive. We can have por or para with infinitives. We know we use para with an infinitive to state purpose. But how is para being used with this infinitive? Right. When we use that word despite being antique or old, which is what we don't use like viejo so much. Some people do, but grammatically speaking in Spanish, to be correct, you use the word antiguo instead of viejo, referring to like dated, something that's dated, antiguo. So despite being dated or old, what? The TV works well, okay? Words like, in English, despite is a contradiction, okay? Another word, just bear with me here. I'm going to connect the dots and make this easy for you. Another word would be a contradiction. Another word for contradiction, it's kind of like literary terminology, is a what? If there's a contradiction in like a book you're reading, what's that called? What's the literary term for contrast or paradox? Paradox. And I'm using paradox on purpose because this is a paradox, right? Everybody knows what a paradox is. It's contradiction. Okay, paradoja is the word in Spanish for paradox. Paradoja. And I'm using this word on purpose because why? Para is in the word paradoja, paradox, even in English. A paradox is a contradiction. So you can have para with infinitives to say purpose, para, purpose, and para, paradox, or paradoja, I prefer. So you can just learn another fancy new Spanish word to say a contradiction or paradoja. So por with an infinitive is used for an explanation, and we build on what we know. ¿Por qué? Like, no estudié anoche. Or, like, saqué mala nota porque no estudié. Okay, I got a bad grade because I didn't study. If you reorder it, you have to change your grammar a little bit. And you would say, por no estudiar. Saqué mala nota. So if you can rearrange a word order with an infinitive and it provides an explanation, it's por. Because we use por to ask why, and we use por to say because. So por infinitive explanation, para infinitive paradoja, some sort of contradiction or purpose. ¿Comprenden? These are the hardest ones to recognize in my opinion. Okay, muy fácil. Trabajo para College of Charleston. ¿Para qué equipo de básquetbol juega LeBron James? LeBron James juega para... Jugaba para Miami Heat. Jugaba para Cleveland's... I can't remember the name of the Cleveland professional basketball team. Cavaliers, gracias. Jugaba para Miami Heat. Jugaba para Cleveland Cavaliers, pero ahora juega para... Lakers, sí. Muy bien. Okay? Para. No, yo trabajo para College of Charleston. Probablemente para siempre, by the way. Para siempre. Para. So, employments, we use para to indicate where we work. Employment. And we also use it in athletics. Really like anything. I'm trying to think outside of employment and athletics when we would use para. Work for, plays for. So por and para do not translate equally and literally into English. By, for, through. It's got lots of different translations, so the English translation will not help you. The context is what you're looking at. Okay? Y ahora vamos a decidir. Por o para. Por o para y por qué. Okay, es bueno que estemos practicando porque muchos de ustedes respondieron por, pero es para. Muy bien, para. ¿Por qué? Hablemos en inglés por qué. Why is this para? What's this saying? Why is it not por? You need what? What's a conexión inalámbrica? Fancy word for? Wi-Fi. Okay, so you need wireless connection para navegar en la red to do what? Purpose. So another, para is used with purpose, and para plus infinitive, purpose, can be translated literally in English, in order to. In order to surf the web. Okay? ¿Entienden? All right, so careful because the infinitive ones I think are the hardest ones. They really and truly are. Sorry to start you off with the hardest. Oh, aquí tengo. Ok, más fácil. Entrar en la clase por o para la puerta. Just to help you out, you're deciding between what two uses of por and para right now. Ruta versus destino. Excelente, chicos. Por la puerta, because you're getting what here? Through the door. Exactly. Through the door. This is route. This is our destination is what? Class. Right. But our word after the blank is going through the door. Okay? Más difícil, otra vez, sorry, another infinitive one. So narrow down your choices to your infinitive options, your uses of por versus para. Muy bien, just to help you out, remember, por with an infinitive is what? ¿Cómo se dice por qué? Explanation. Por plus infinitive is an explanation. Para plus infinitives can be used in two ways. One is purpose. We just went over that. And the other use of para is indicated in a word. Paradox. So that's what you're deciding between. Is it an explanation of why something happened? Or is it a paradox? Or a purpose? Which one is this? It's an explanation. Por. What are we explaining? What happened?
It says when you're nervous and driving.
Being nervous. You did what? Yeah, put on the brakes. Exactly. Okay? And again, this is an example of preterite and imperfect. So we're saying what? Por estar nervioso? What are we saying here? How would you translate this to somebody? It's great to just grasp the general idea. That's all I really care about. But if you're put on the spot, people put me on the spot all the time. Like, music in Spanish is playing. They're like, what are they saying? And I'm like, well, give me a second. I have to translate it. Or people are like, what does that say? Translating. What's it saying? Por estar nervioso. For being nervous. So prepositions with infinitives can sometimes translate as ing in English. So for being nervous when what? You were driving. I just want to reiterate the imperfect. ing. You were driving. You did what? Slammed on the brakes. Okay? Just to reiterate that preterite versus imperfect concept that we're still learning. Por or para? Por or para? So you have a person, and just to help you think through this, you're narrowing down your options with por and para. If it's por with a person, it's what? If it's por in a person, do you remember? Por with people versus para with people. Let me help you out, just because this is also new. Por with people is a favor. Okay? Para with people is a recipient of a gift. Or it can be expressing an opinion. I'm just helping you narrowing down the rules so you can directly compare rule versus rule. The accurate rule with por versus the accurate rule with para. So right now you're having to decide, is he doing a favor for him? Or is he a recipient of a gift or expressing an opinion? What's going on here? Jose no tiene impresora. So yo tengo que imprimir su documento. Is that a favor or is he a recipient of a gift? Por para él is referring to Jose. Okay, just to connect and clarify. Favor, favor, por él. What are you doing for him? Printing the document. So remember, favors are actions and gifts are objects. Okay, so you're kind of also looking at, am I talking about verbs versus nouns? Otro ejemplo. I'm just trying my hardest not to tell you what to do and help you think, guide you along the right track. Por. Mi mamá. Why? What did I do? A favor. What did I do? Filled up her tank. Okay? Does that make sense? Octavio cocinó or preparó ensalada de papas por su mamá. So para is when she's the recipient of an object, but she's, I guess you could say, the recipient of an action. Por. Fabuloso. Por un precio barato and para clarificar, or in order to clarify, para clarificar, we use por. What rule does this fall under? Exchange. Exactly. Okay, these are the hard ones. So, first of all, what's our context clue? An infinitive, right? I'm just helping you identify the context clues so you can narrow down your rules. Right now we're looking at por versus infinitives and para versus infinitives, which has resulted in the right train of thought for all of you. Excelente. And it's para plus infinitive because why? What's going on here? What rule does this apply to? The paradox. Because what are we saying?
Despite being new.
It's new, but it's not working. Para. Paradoja. Usually we associate new things with working well. Perfecto. Muy bien. Muy bien. Para viernes. Context clue viernes. Rule is, yeah, upcoming date or deadline. Excelente. Yes, cierto. ¿No? ¿Viernes? Sí, es cierto. El 25. Ok, y tengo otros ejemplos. Si es el fin de la actividad.